What's up, guys? It's Mitch with SC Weather. I hope y'all have had a great week. Looks like we're heading into May now. This year is just kind of booking it by. It's funny, it seems like 1 month goes by fast and 1 month goes by slow. And April definitely seemed like one of the months that went by fast. It was a very active month as far as weather. After about a month to a month and a half stretch where the weather was extremely, I guess my way of saying it, boring. Because there's just not a whole lot to talk about, especially someone who's passionate about the weather like I am. So we had 5-6 different severe weather threats, a few of them verified into actual real deals that caused damage and loss of life, unfortunately. So we're going to the May, and to be honest, the first half of May, I do not think it's going to be as active for severe weather. That could change. I just don't see nothing right now. But there's one thing I do want to talk about. First off, let's just dive right into it, guys. First off, today looks beautiful. It's not going to be too hot. It's not going to get too warm today. It looks like temps for, when I say a good chunk of the state, it's probably going to make it into the low 80s. Forecast high, definitely here in the Midlands, is around 80 to 82 degrees, but normally we get a couple degrees hotter than that, it always seems like. So, I think the places who don't get into the 80s a day definitely get into the upper 70s. And it's just going to be a beautiful day, low humidity. No humidity's building yet. We haven't really had a whole lot of intense humidity yet this spring as opposed to the last few years, which we'll talk about comparing and contrasting this spring to the last few springs. And so tonight, another chilly night, but definitely not as chilly as this past night and this morning. Probably, it might be a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer in spots when we wake up in the morning, and that's due to a big warm up tomorrow. I think that maybe some places have a chance to hit 90 degrees for our Sunday, and I think a better chance may come into Monday, but tomorrow definitely some warmer air. That's the GFS. This is the NAM. The NAM's obviously we're in range where we can go hour by hour, so it's going to show a little bit warmer temperatures. But definitely mid 80s almost across the entire board, the entire state. So very warm weekend. More warm day tomorrow. Today's not going to be very warm. Tomorrow might be a good day where y'all can do some water events, play in the pool. I think it'll be warm enough to do that. I think the water will probably be still a little nippy just from the last few cool mornings, but definitely tomorrow will be a good day for water events. Maybe not so much today, but I want to show this is the dew points, which is basically humidity in a nutshell there. And you can tell some big time humidity building out to our west in places like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and stuff like that. But we definitely have some cooler, crisp air entrenched, not temperature-wise, but dew point-wise, some drier air, I guess is what I should say. As we just have dew points in the low 60s to 50s into the Carolinas and parts of Georgia and stuff like that. So it'll be hot tomorrow, but it won't be super humid. It'll be nice, and definitely a welcomed feel to the air, since a lot of people, since we're getting to the May, a lot of people are really starting to crave that summer weather. And even I am too. I'm ready to see them hot temperatures, them pop-up storms, but at the same time, I'm trying to hold on to this cooler air as long as possible. And y'all should too. Y'all living in South Carolina, y'all should know how brutally hot and humid it gets here. But let's go on and flip to Monday, and this is the GFS, guys. Another warm day Monday. I think it'll be a little cooler in the upstate. Just have a little bit more cooler air entrenched over North Carolina. But still, a warm day, especially in the southern parts of the state. And I think Tuesday will be a very big warm day. And I think Tuesday has a big chance to hit 90 degrees. Really, there's a chance to hit 90 degrees, guys. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday for parts of the state. I know Columbia, KCAE has not registered 90 degrees yet. I know Florence has. I think Savannah has, Georgia. I don't think Charleston has, just because they get that cool breeze. Definitely Greenville hasn't. But Kay hasn't. Normally they're the hottest spot in the state, and they will become. But Kay and Florence normally fight for them warmer temperatures. But Tuesday, warm. Wednesday, I think will be the last really warm day before a cold front sweeps down and drastically changes things, which is something I really want to talk about. Guys, it looks like today, tomorrow, all the way through Wednesday of next week is really going to be nice, almost early summer-like weather. But drastic change late next week. And I know y'all are thinking late next week, well, things could change, and they can. But here's the thing. Man, the GFS and the Euro, which is two major models, when we're looking at long range, obviously, is just really honed into a period of below normal temperatures. And they have not budged. Even the National Weather Service is all in on it. And starting Thursday, this is high temperatures, only in the 60s and maybe 70s. And it'll probably verify into the 70s. It's always a little warmer. But for May 7th, I mean, average highs are starting to get into the low 80s for most of the state. And, man, just low 70s. It's just crisp air. For me, I don't mind it so much, but I know a lot of people are just, we're getting into that time of the year where May for South Carolina, I mean, for people who have pools and stuff like that, it's getting to the point where you start to use them and things. So, I mean, I know after a while, people are starting to wonder, where's that hot weather? Ready to swim, rather do sport, pool activities, water activities, and things like that. And check it out, Friday morning. Now, that's a little far off, but I mean, that is, we've had some 40s the last few weeks, and especially this morning, but we're starting to get pretty deep into May at this point. Not super deep, but May 8th. I mean, that's borderline early to mid-May, and I mean, look at that. Next Friday morning, waking up to half the state into the 40s. I mean, it's like, all right, 40s is cool after a while, but we're getting into summer. People want warm weather, right? And that's just nippy. And the thing is, it just doesn't warm up a whole lot. Next Friday, I mean, it's just that spring feel that's just gripped on us. And you got people who are all in on it, which kind of me, and you got other people who are just like, all right, I'm ready for that hot weather. But next weekend just really looks like a much cooler weekend than this weekend. And this is next Saturday's highs, only in the 70s for most of the state, and then another cool morning next Sunday morning. I mean, look at that. Look in the mountains of North Carolina. I mean, even for the mountains, I mean, it's just like, all right, that's way too cold for May 10th. And that's just crazy. And even in the Triad of North Carolina, the Piedmont, upper 30s. And South Carolina, half the state in the 40s again, deep into the 40s too. And then look how cool it is like next Sunday. And, this is going to change big time, guys. This is going to fluctuate. But highs next Sunday in the daggone 60s. That's way too cold for May 10th in the afternoon. That's just like, all right, that's enough, right? So let's get into temp anomalies. And what this is the temperature compared to average, the forecasted temperature compared to average. So average temps right now, I should have researched it before I started this video, but for example, I think Columbia, the average temp prior right now is around 80 degrees for a high, low 80s. I'd have to check back into that. But that's just kind of a guess off the top of my head. So, check it out here. This is Monday. Most of the state warmer than average. Tuesday, warmer than average. But check out North Carolina, that cooler air. Wednesday, I think, depending on the timing of this cold front, most of the state will be warmer than average. But dude, this is crazy. Check it out Thursday, drastic change, even all the way deep into Florida. Look at them deep blues and purples starting to come across the southeast. Just that cool air. Friday, cooler than average. Saturday, cooler than average. And we're getting deeper and deeper into the month, guys. And it's just getting cooler and cooler. We're starting to get into them purples where, you know, you're starting to get 10 degrees below average. 10 to 15 degrees below average in parts of the southeast. And it's just entrenched into the southeast, cooler than average temps. And it's been like this for a while. We've actually had a spring this year, but it's getting to the point where it's like, all right, cold fronts, why don't y'all chill out a little bit? And so sure enough, just that it just stays cool. Now this is starting to get into la-la land, meaning it's starting to get to an area, it's getting into mid next week, not this coming week, but mid next week. The week after, like the May 13th range and stuff. It's getting to the point where this is a period of time that could definitely change. So, you know, this is definitely not set in stone, but I'm just showing it just because the National Weather Service agrees, because it's been so honed into this area being below average, you know. But the Euro is just so much in agreement too, you know. This is this coming Wednesday, warmer than average, then the blast of cool air comes. The timing is about the same. So that's what makes people think, hey, this is a serious cool down for May coming up. And check it out. Same for Euro. Friday, next Saturday, the weekend looks cooler than average. And you know, Euro only goes out to 240 hours, but goes all the way out to next Tuesday, cooler than average temperatures. So, you know, this is the last thing I'm probably going to show right here. And this is the temperature probability outlook. This is the 6 to 10 day range from, I think, yesterday. And the whole entire eastern part of the U.S. below average temperatures. We got a high chance of below average temperatures for us. And this is the 8 to 14 range. High confidence for 8 to 14 days out. This is the May 9th to 15th range. Pretty far out, guys. That we're going to be below average temperature wise. So, you know, when you start to get into mid-May, 10 degrees below average is still relatively nice outside, probably in the low 70s for mid-May standards. So you can still, sorry, a bird just randomly hit my building. You can still go out, sunbathe and stuff, have a bikini on, have the bathing suit on, but it's just going to be borderline too nippy to get into any body of water. And that's so much different than the last few springs. I mean, about mid-May last year, we had 100-degree temperatures. I think 3 days out of last May, we had 100-degree temperatures. And who's to say by late May, we don't just suddenly flip? Because you know how we are around here in South Carolina. We just flip all of a sudden, and it's just hot as Hades. Armpit of hell, right? So it could just suddenly flip, and I'm expecting it to at some point, whether that's in June or late May or whatever. But the last thing I'm gonna say, I know a lot of y'all ready for hot weather, but be careful what you wish for. Because when it's hot here, y'all know it's hot, and there's no joke. And it's humid also, and you know, I don't see any weather like that in the next 2 weeks, not even close, except the next few days. And so enjoy your pool time now, enjoy things like that now, because we're gonna get a couple weeks into May where you're not gonna be able to enjoy it as much. So that's all I got. I'd appreciate if y'all subscribe while y'all are watching, or y'all can subscribe now, and I'd appreciate it. And thank y'all for everyone who's watched the entire video. It means a whole lot to me. And that's all I got, guys. I hope y'all have an awesome weekend. Stay blessed.